Which it stands.
Thank you very much. First up this evening, department head updates. Chief Flynn.
I should be quick, I hope. Chair will correct me if I'm not. 2025 runs for November, 56 911 calls, 105 transfers for a total of 161. Compared to last year, at 61 911 calls and 89 transfers for a total of 150. Doesn't balance up the year, but it was an increase. Total for 2025, the end of November was 665 911 calls so far and 1,119 transfers for a total of 1,784. Last year, for the same time period, 752 911 calls and 1,322 transfers for a total of 2,074. I apologize for this next line. Our fire trucks are in good order. We did have one little issue that I didn't put down here, which was we had a valve that froze, it split. We had to have that replaced. That had split during the old town Christmas, or whatever they call it. And we're still waiting for trucks for the ladder, parts for the ladder truck, excuse me. I did check on those today. He still hasn't got those from the factory. I assume they're making them specific for the truck. I did talk to the adjuster from Primex, and he said that that's kind of been the norm lately, so it'll get done. All the ambulances are in good repair, and the inspection report is a pass. We did have a busy weekend of fire calls where we as far as November, we did not still mutual to end town, but we received mutual aid twice. Which we're very grateful that we had that resource available. And fortunately, the calls were serious, but not devastating, I guess is the way to put it. So other than that, that's all I had.
The final page shows Chris's efforts. Is that what?
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't break it down for wars, but these were the inspections that were done of them all. Okay. Of November.
So, I know that the runs and the transfers are showing a little bit of a down thing this year. Have you been able to compute how much of that is because we're not running to local transfers there? That we didn't get paid for in one?
I was gonna say, I think it's been about 130 transfers that we haven't been getting. Country Village also they bought a van, so they're transporting a lot of their patients back to the facility. So we're not having to do that basically at our expense. So it's stuff we're doing, we're actually earning. I hate to say it that way, because it's not always about the money. But we've cut out a lot of those non-paying trips.
Profit call is not necessarily a bad thing.
No, absolutely not.
What I would.
We had a lot of volume in the past, but if you look at the revenue numbers for this year, the revenues have been better. We've adjusted the town contract fees and the ambulance rates, which have compensated for a lot of that. And it's actually worked out a lot more favorable to the town than I thought it would. I don't know if that makes any sense. Yeah. It's amazing that we were shagging calls for nothing. And so that ambulance that we gave Littleton was more than paid for itself. Working out.
Thanks, Chief. Beautiful. Maggie? Thank you.
Yeah, just looking forward to getting things reconciled and caught up. Working at getting year end. Everything ready and looking towards carnival.
Thank you. You'll see this evening, Barbara sends her regards, as does Eli. You'll see this evening, Chief Woodworth provided you your selectmen's report, which includes his calls for service, both 25 year-to-date versus 24, a mileage breakdown, as well as the calls that they received in the last period. So you'll see that in your packet. It's quite lengthy, so I won't read through it all. The notes, which I think are some importance at the bottom, he offered a full-time position to a qualified individual who turned it down due to pay and he would have had to take a pay cut, so he did not accept the position.
Do you know by how much?
I do not. He will have that, of course. Put a full-time position back out on social media last week to solicit resumes. So far, he's received 2 resumes and has 1 person interested. The Stefan Cruiser was a huge success the past couple weeks, as was the food collection and distribution for Project Homebound. Officer DeLuca graduates from the academy. And that is it. Next up, there are no appointments, no public hearings. I have the review of the December 21st, 2025 work session minutes.
A motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next up is the December 1st, 2025 regular meeting minutes.
Make a motion to accept as presented.
All second. All in favor? Aye.
You take off. You could take off.
I always pick it up.
Oh, next up this evening, sign various paperwork. We have a fireworks permit for 21 Winter Street. We also have a few last minute abatements. These are housekeeping for properties that were deeded or exempt. So there is a 29 Kilkenny Street for abatement amount of $1,291. That was due to the timing of the deeding and issuing the first property bill. Also for 56 Portland Street for $900, the same. And then $67 for 67 Causeway for $86, same with the timing. And lastly, an exemption for the Boy Scouts of America for $268. To sign various paperwork. First up, new business number 1 is the purchasing procurement policy updated. You can tell the last time it was approved was September 16th of 2024. And as part of the policy, it does state that department heads and the town manager will review this annually to put it in front of you. So that's what we've provided this evening. You'll see there's very minor edits for the body, which does not really change the one highlight is past vendor performance to include and or. On the second page, was struck to add, and the town may have a written contract with people to procure items that are listed in Appendix A. We also removed fax searches because people don't really use fax anymore. So it's just Appendix A was edited to include Atlantic Tactical, Bergeron Protective Clothing, Cartographics, Casella, Central Paving, Eagle Point Gun, Esri, and ArcGIS Online, Image Trend, Lakes Region Fire Apparatus, New England Backflow. AB Excavating was updated to Peckham Industries, typographical error for Paris 8, Pitney Bowes, which does our shipping labels, PNR Excavation, which is on contract for Causeway, that's why they've been added, and TAP2 Communications, which presented, yep, amended.
Make a motion to approve the new amended purchasing policy.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
And just for this to be something you bring to us every December.
That's,
Appendix.
yeah. Hopefully around the encumbrances time, and that way we can keep it operationally moving. Next up for new business number 2 is the 2025 encumbrances. You'll see a number of sheets. I'm looking for someone to read through the page with the first action. This, for the public's information, we're pulling some lines together to help encumber funds for the sanitation department SCADA system and manhole repair. So we need to move monies from some of their other lines to their sewer lines maintenance. So just buckle up. We've got 7 motions to read through.
First one, I will make a motion to move $2,000 from the 034321-0035 sanitation department hired services and equipment to 034321-0252 sewer line maintenance line.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to move $2,000 from 034321-0029 sanitation department fuel and heating to 034321-0252 sanitation department sewer line maintenance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. So, motion to move $2,500 from the 03-4321-0035 sanitation department hired services and equipment to 03-4321-0252 sanitation department sewer line maintenance line.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I motion to move $2,000 from 03-4321-0054 sanitation department safety equipment to 03-4321-0252 sanitation department sewer line maintenance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion to move $5,000 from 03-4321-0276 sanitation department main pump electric to 03-4321-0252 sewer department sewer lines maintenance fund.
All in favor?
Aye.
I motion to move $5,000 from 03-4321-0293 sanitation department wastewater chemicals to 03-4321-0252 sewer line maintenance.
All in favor?
Motion to move $4,000 from 03-4321-5185 to 03-4321-252 sewer department line maintenance.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. So you've just moved $22,500 into the sewer lines maintenance line ending in 0252. So if you'll flip to your next encumbrances page, there's encumbrances motions.
I will move to encumber $5,000 from the general government building maintenance line for the repairing of the town hall.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to encumber $6,542.55 from the fire department new equipment line for 2 sets of gear.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I move to encumber $180,000 from the sewer enterprise fund unrestricted fund balance as voted on during the town meeting on March 11th, 2025 for the SCADA system and the sewer energy audit items.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move to encumber $75,338 from sewer line maintenance for the replacement of manhole and towards the SCADA system.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And for the board's use, you'll see what you just did spelled out for us to provide to the auditors later next year. Thank you very much.
Good, thank you.
I also have copies of said purchase orders and other things if we need review. We just did encumber $150,000 towards the sanitation department SCADA system. This will leave a balance of $7,700 to be placed into next year's budget. Any questions? We have, next up for new business number 2 is community camp. So I was in touch with Greg Ainsworth regarding the tree farm program. In New Hampshire, a tree farm must be at least 10 acres in size and have an actively used a written management plan and also demonstrate a commitment towards forest stewardship. It's a recognition program, which means that the forest must meet a minimum standard for woodlands management and requires an inspection every few years. There are approximately 60 acres of forest at community camp, had a tree farm in 2008. The plan should be updated every 10 years with a survey and recommendations for timber harvest. There was a previous recommendation from Greg for a harvest around 2015 to 2018, but we cannot find record that a harvest was ever completed. We will advise the Conservation Commission about the tree farm program, but ultimately the authority rests with the town and with you all. So I would like to move forward with at least updating the forestry plan for the spring. Additionally, you all seated you instructed me to go forth with an advisory committee for community camps so that we can kind of future set potential improvements to the facility. We had our first meeting last week with community representatives who had ties to the camp, as well as representatives from the Northern Forest Center. The members included Jean Olson, Marilyn Foss, Morgan Hill, Joyce McGee, Wendy Fallback, Maid Sear, Ann Corthel, Eli and Megan, Robin and I, and we are looking to spread the word. So if you have any other suggestions for us to reach out to, we're looking to keep the public informed with, just again, making improvements to the camp. The conversation just included a review of the facility's current status and the conditions, and we also went through a quick analysis of the facility's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We are going to be meeting again after the holidays to loop in some representatives from Catamount Arts, since they were kind of interested in assisting with some programming out at the community camp.
For the tree farm.
Mhm.
Second,
All in favor?
I'm
Aye.
Thank you.
just are anticipating work at the camp in summer 2026. You know where we are, budget.
Say that again.
Are you anticipating work being done on the camp? Or, like, I don't remember where we are as far as work in 2020.
Yes, so we still have FEMA damages for the bridge out at community camp. So that work was unable to be completed this fall. We've received an extension through August, I believe, of 2026. I have to check on the date, but we have been extended time. So the intention is to fix the bridge while we also kind of work with these other parties to determine kind of, do we have volunteers who would help us assist with some repairs and some programming and getting the facility back to its really loved status. There's no other new business this evening. We have old business. Number one is the Middle Street sewer line update. So, as you know, I worked with the residents. We connected with Stone Cipher Environmental, who was our environmental consultants. They came down to take two different boring sites, two different sample sites with 3 borings each for a composite sample of the site. We're still waiting on the results. Unfortunately, Friday, was it? Either Thursday or Friday last week, we did have another overflow.
Oh, yeah, I think it was Friday.
Friday, yeah. So we'll be meeting with representatives from the hospital on next Monday to have conversations with them just to check in. And while we wait for more information from the environmental, we have scheduled the Vector truck and camera for December 23rd. So we were concerned about how cold it was and the ability to do that work. Hopefully seeing a little bit of a warming trend, which cross your fingers continues through next week and they'll be able to come down.
Again, the question is, so what criteria? Is it?
This time was just liquid. We'll pick it up.
We're back. For the backer, truck can make it up.
I need to understand what's going on. All right. Old business number 2 is the Lancaster Motel update. Wish to open the floor?
Yeah, we can share what we have. Okay. And in terms of that, and answer any questions you might have, and we, in regard to where we're at with this resolving the problem. I guess what's leading the issue is taxes, back taxes. I think that's what we're concerned about. That's, well, I've got a whole bunch of backstory and the situation that we're in right now, which I'll share with you, but I'll try to expedite and just get to the issue of making sure we get those taxes paid. We want to pay the taxes. I love paying the taxes, but we want to because we're citizens and we plan on being citizens here, and the taxes are essential to keep our operation going as citizens. The situation with the taxes in the motel is born of the challenges that we've had managing, running, and being successful with the motel, which we really haven't been. We haven't been successful. It's been an interesting business venture, one that we got into right before COVID. And I'm not using, the COVID and some of the things that we've had to deal with as excuses. They're just what businesses have to deal with. I know there's some business people in here who know what these challenges are, but we've lived here for 20 years. This is home. It's going to be home. We love Lancaster, love being here, raise the kids here. And so, again, we want to make sure that we satisfy our responsibility as citizens. And the the investment in the motel was not small, 1.2 million. And then I spent another $500,000 trying to make the place what you see it to be viable. Tons of improvements, lot of which wasn't really visible on the curb appeal side of the issue, but everything from internet to the updating the electrical system and all the floors and a lot of which some of the citizens here in the town and in this room were part of helping us get upgraded. So we invested quite a bit in the town and in the motel for ourselves, but also for the town. We would always say that to the extent that we can give this back to the town, because it had been a landmark, that's the extent to which we be successful. But it's been a challenge because after we bought it 6 months later, we were closed for 6 months by the state due to COVID. And then it took another almost 2 years to get the revenue coming back in consistent with what it was prior to that. For example, 30% of our business is the Canadians. The border was shut for how long? Almost a year and a half. And so we never really got them back. So there's that. There's also the snowmobile business, or the snow machining, which we know hasn't been what we would have hoped to. So all those things kind of, the advent of the, housing share programs for people, all that took off and has taken a bite of the apple. That's fine. That's just business. Those are issues that we've had to struggle against. So we struggled to keep the infrastructure of the business up. There's a lot of plumbing issues. There's been a lot this last couple of weeks, things that maybe aren't visible to you per se, but they're big issues in terms of keeping that building alive, So we've struggled with a lot of that stuff. But now, in terms of the sales that we have pending, we've had, as you know about some of them, we've had one prior to the housing idea. They came through, got close, but didn't finish. We've had one more very serious offer that got right to the end, and then they didn't have the money that they really needed to finish it. That's been a struggle. We've got another purchase and sales that has been negotiated that is about to be signed. It isn't signed yet, but it's close. And they're fairly serious, but I thought all of them were pretty serious. And so you have to take it right to the end and see. So we are trying to get this sale done because the objective is to make everyone whole. In other words, you could take the building for taxes, but a lot of people are going to be left holding the bag, so to speak. I want to sell the place for the price that's going to get everyone taken care of. That to me would be the win. We took a business chance. That's what happens. It's never going to pan out for us per se. But panning out for us will be if we can pay what we owe to everyone. And I think if what we've been negotiating with all of them except for the apartment group, they did not, I think ultimately, and I can't answer why they didn't come through or what the total of that was, but they wanted to purchase it for less than what would make everyone whole. And they tried to negotiate with me to have me help them do that. I can't do that. I'm not going to pay you to lose money, So we do want to make sure that everyone is taken care of, and we have a couple of deals. We've been trying to sell this seriously for about 6 to 8 months. So, we've had someone negotiating for us for longer than that. We've had about 6 to 8 months of real offers. And I think we just have to keep pushing, get these things to completion so we can get everyone taken care of. I don't know, Ruth, you may have something to add.
Well, first of all, thank you guys for hearing us. Again, we've been here. Whatever happened.
put here. But have some informational, stuff, so you don't have to take notes at the top. Which can entertain you around a little bit. Anyway, so I'll give you this and then you can look at it. It's okay. The thing that I wanted to focus on, obviously was, the money and the getting you guys paid. So I have some options in here, I'll give them to you, the three of you, and also, our town manager, so that you guys take a look at them. The things that, again, we're trying to pay the tax, so we're trying to find ways where this would be viable for you. And consider, and some of them are outside of the sale. So that was kind of I'm frustrated with the fact that people get to the end and then get all the money. So. Hey, maybe one of these we can do for sale. Sure how to submit this informational things to three of you, but I have copies and it will.
Thank you for coming in. Appreciate that. I know it's pure speculation on your part, but why do you think the deals have fallen through in the end?
It's money. People say they have money. It's just like the apartment people, we are very accommodating and very, we connect to these people with, the town, connected them with the, state reps that could show them other investment opportunities. We made them aware of being at opportunities on everything that we could do to facilitate the sale, because obviously we want to make everybody whole. There are a lot of vendors that are waiting. Well, they've been gracious to us, so we like it couldn't happen. But in my opinion, it's just they could not come up with all a part of the down payment or something.
Public knowledge, I've been the one concerned about this property and concerned about us getting our taxes and paid in full.
Sure.
And thank you for wanting to make us whole. My concern is the short sale and that we would not be made whole. And I don't know what to do about that. And
One of the things about the short sale, that has come up,
Yeah,
right,
but they won't get a title unless they satisfy
all of it.
all the liens.
Mhm.
So that is what has sort of protected us all from any short sales. They made an effort to make a short sale, a couple of times, and what they realized is they won't have time.
You can't get a clean title without it. And we've also made it very clear, I mean, we are literally looking to sell the property for what it's our interest. We're not asking anyone to take less than what they feel they're due from the banks in the town. And one of the things about the bank is they're gonna get their money. And they've made that very clear, and that's what I'm really, they're like, well, no, that waited this long. What's full, and not only that, the asking price is only a few $1,000s over what we paid for it, and the town has doubled the assessment based on the improvement. So I think that speaks a lot to your concern, because, I mean, you've got to pay at least what the town says property at. Which is market value is way over that. So I think that you would be, well, to have faith in the fact that it's much of a town possess that.
I'm eager to look at your materials. I'm certainly fine to talk about this at a future meeting. I'm trying to offset the desire, your desire and your hope and your dream to make this work out versus the reality of whether or not it can. And sitting up here, how long do we?
What is?
Can I finish, please?
Oh, absolutely, I'm sorry.
And how long do we wait on that dream? We dream for it to sell at full price too. We dream for everybody to be whole. And as I look at you and I know your Lancaster residents and what you've done for our town is impressive. How do we make sure the rest of the town is, taken care of in this situation? This is a large amount of money due to the town. We are in budget cycle right now, trying to deal with some issues that we have for the town, and this is a lot of money that we can most certainly use. And I'm trying to balance that out. I'm not heartless. I'm also I'm a former banker too, so I understand about short sales, and we can all agree there's not going to be one. But how long? And I'm trying to weigh that out.
So what, again, some of the information here is personal, so I'd like to hand you this information and you can review it. And there are other options in here, a couple of other options that I think might allay your fears and you would not have to, worry so much about how long. Also, I would say that, you know, I some corroborating, facts that
This information we'll be able to discuss in public at our next meeting. I would like to keep discussion public if possible.
yeah, you can discuss for the information, but there are, when you're at real estate negotiation, you're a banker, we cannot discuss this. And certainly would not want to have information here that is, you know, that is our personal information that has nothing to do with this deal. Respect.
Absolutely. I'm okay to review information, bring this back around for the next meeting.
All right. Okay, just one point of insurance, even if for some reason this was a short sale.
Yeah.
Nothing in a short sale says the town has to give up their lien. I mean, that one, anything that. Not give up.
I'm kind of, when I interrupted you, I apologize, well. Bankers might help, but I don't know how you would lose out. Short sale, we would. Other folks might lose out, I'm not sure that you would. So,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah,
Bring it up.
bring that up.
Yeah, sure.
Next up this evening, thank you very much, is the select board member report.
Hopefully I don't have anything tonight.
I have two things. The first is, I know Rob has brought to us a couple times about whether or not the airport should be just, our dues in that membership agreement should be just in the budget. I still feel strongly that, it should be made by the people, that we shouldn't just slip it in there. So, I want to suggest, what if this year we continue to put the airport as a warrant article, and then a warrant article afterwards that asks the people whether or not they want it to be in the budget or whether they want it to continue as a warrant article.
During my years here, that flip flop back and forth, and usually with the public wanting it to be a warrant article,
And no,
I would just put a proviso in there if we do a warrant article about putting it in the budget, making it an advisory. One. Year, the amount has dropped significantly, so. But
asked if we wanted to join, and then immediately after the warrant article was to pay for the dues. So that would immediately went to the legislative body. I don't know, I haven't researched every year since then, if I went back and forth, or this has been done or not, but the legislative body made that choice. And so I was just bringing it back around. I'm trying to think about the advisory. We would make a decision to pull it out. That's what you're saying.
yes, I mean, that lets us know where the taxpayers are. And that. In 10 years, an airport budget, again, larger increase. And your taxpayers are getting restless and saying, why is this buried in the budget? Because, year, 3 years was in the budget. Outside group, we should be able to.
I think the interesting thing with the airport, we are a member.
Mhm.
So it's not an outside group. There's an argument that it's dues. It's just, it's a variable amount each year.
Select board can obligate a future select board. So I don't,
Not the advisory, but we can publish it.
I would say, get the feeling of the taxpayers, this year, the budget amount is minimum.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
The,
My second item is Christmas is on a Thursday this year. What do you guys think about giving the staff Friday, the 26th off this holiday?
I've got no problem with it. Storming, and we're gonna pay them.
The offset that we can. Not very often Christmas can be a 4-day weekend. So this is a nice year to be able to do it. Not a habit, but this year.
Yeah, I get one thing, no, I'll take a motion to offer. We're good?
Thank you very much. For my manager report, we have found space at the transfer station for our cannon for work to be completed, so it's on the radar. Rusty will give up space for a few days so we can get everything heated and try and work as time allows. I had an initial gear library conversation with Tara from Community Builders Hub and Eli and Megan over at Coloneltown. A gear library is where you borrow recreational gear. Think you want to go snowshoeing in the winter, so you borrow a pair of snowshoes, and then when you're done with it, you bring it back. It's free of charge. Tara is interested in offering a gear library using community donations and using Coloneltown as the location for these items. I'm researching our liability kind of issues, and we're also working to discuss like operations of such a facility and making sure that the gear that we have is appropriate and management is reasonable and so on and so forth. So it's just super high level conversations at this point, but it'd be interesting if it shakes out to be able to provide this for people to get out and move more using our recreation department.
Interesting idea.
She floated it online and it's been well received online so far, so. Had 3 welfare awards for $2,653. One was a burial and 2 were for rental assistance. I am looking for volunteers to help the senior couple move at the end of this month. Last Friday, we had a meeting, you saw in Chris's report, with Colonel Town Players. So Chief Flynn, Chris and I, about the status of the town hall. John had come to see me before, he's the president of the players, because they saw Old Time Christmas was in the auditorium and they were kind of, you're just kidding. They understood the difference between a 1-day time-bound event and setting up production. So we had to kind of just level set that. Chief also explained that we have a lot of work left to do. You know that we are working to fireproof the boiler downstairs. We currently have removed the rear access to the building to repair the steps. The side steps have also been ordered, but there's some additional work that needs to be completed within the auditorium itself, some electrical work, egress, appropriate lighting, so on and so forth. So we level set with that. And they understand that we're going to provide to them some sort of, if we do this, then you're going to be able to take these actions. It's not, so we're working with them. I think the meeting went really well, and we'll be in touch soon.
Repairing the floor.
Well, I called the guy, and he hasn't returned my phone call yet. I am going to leave one more message that's like, I need to hear from you, and then we will reassess. Yep. Yep. And just for your information, the encumbrances this evening, you did encumber some funds for $5,000 for town hall repairs. That is to repair the mortar from the bricks. They're about pinky depth in some areas, and we just need to make sure that the exterior shell stays up. Especially seeing as though we're repairing the stairs, it seems fitting to do this type of work all at the same time. There's some areas, including the front steps and the side steps, that are very deep. The monies that you authorized for expenditure out of the capital reserve fund, as you are the spending authority, we can carry those over into next year. So that is the monies for the fireproofing, for the flooring, and for the handrails that are still kind of outstanding.
We,
Yes, so thinking on. So we had an issue last Wednesday, Thursday. The
You guys are
I
talking in
can't-
code, so you bring me up to date on what it was.
fixed the building, it was smoky, called the fire
Oh,
department.
yeah, okay, yeah,
To make sure there was no bad gas, it was fine. What we discovered was the chimney is very large, which means that there's a lot of airflow coming through the building. It will need to be lined at some point, but for the time being, in order to address the airflow situation, too much air going into the furnace, they put in a damper and have adjusted it so far. We haven't seen anything since then. I know Kathy Jean walked into my office and I said, I'm doing math to understand where we are using fuel, and it is definitely a savings from where we were at. So I'm happy with that. Our lovely fuel providers, I did have to be on the horn with the propane provider, but all is well, and our oil provider is delivering on time. We're gonna stay warm. Yep. That's it for me this evening. There is some information in your packets for a zoning board meeting notice, December 17th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. And next up this evening is public comments.
Russell Stewart, Governor Harris. I just want to give a shout out to the sidewalk plow guy, whoever
she or he is, because they're doing an amazing job with all this daily snow, and, you know, they walk a lot. I can get around. I appreciate it.
Jessica,
Will do.
okay, anybody else?
Pretty zones they got that no heating system.
Oh,
I guess my question is this room zoned? Is the auto zone separate?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, there's a thermostat right there, there's one upstairs,
There's three
three.
upstairs,
Okay.
one here, one in the hallway, one in the offices, and one in the auditorium. So how many is it? Six? Six. And then one in the basement, so seven.
Turn it off. Didn't do that individual zoning. The auto was upstairs, all of a sudden they're hot. They got a thermostat.
Right.
You open the window. You know what happens when you open the window and it's below your.
Oh, yeah.
Pick it up and break it. But sounds like you guys.
Yeah, that's what was happening last year, all the heat.
Right, right. If you don't give them a way to damper it down, they're gonna open the window.
Oh, yeah,
And the window, when the window opens,
oh, yeah,
you're gonna get one.
That's what
Box
happened.
on the fence.
we've experienced.
Yes, yes, we have.
System. Over that. Oh, it's not one.
all right, anybody else? No, seeing none, wait on. Motion to adjourn,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, well, cool.
Hey, that should just part of me. That should be at the bottom. Have you watched the German, haven't watched the